I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm here at the Isle of Man where I'm talking to Tim Craine of the Isle of Man government. Tim, what is the Isle of Man government doing to develop the space sector?
We're trying to establish a cluster really of diverse space companies here, and we think that we've actually done very well in that regard. We've got a number of the world's top satellite operators here. We've got 2 global non-for-profit organisations here. We've got a company that manufactures optics, which are currently on the surface of Mars. We've got an International Institute of Space Commerce here. So we're actually very diverse, and we believe that we already have a pretty sticky cluster.
Now, is the Isle of Man government doing enough? Because the space sector is a growing industry.
Yes, very true. I mean, we've really been actively involved in the space sector now going back to, 2001 really, when Manset was first set up on the island, and government's been actively involved since 2006. So we are very much playing the long game. We're not expecting to achieve total success within a couple of years. We are committed for the long term. We are committed to growing the sector, and government is focused on achieving that.
Now, difficult economic climate, is funding proving a problem?
I think every government, wherever you are, is looking at budgets and looking to maximise the impact of those budgets, and the Isle of Man government is no different in that respect. However, it is recognised at political level that the space industry has been a very important part of our economic diversification, and it's also very important in terms of attracting media attention. So space industry always excites people, it always gets media interest, and it has created a very positive profile for the Isle of Man globally. So it's helped to raise our profile in a number of areas on a global basis.
Now, the Futron consultancy has recently released a report about the Isle of Man and the fact that it punches above its weight against its peers. Why is that?
I think because, and we were very fortunate on the Isle of Man when Manset set up here. Manset chose the island as the base for their orbital filing business. So that was really the start of the whole process, and from there Manset obviously attracted customers to the island who wanted to file through the Isle of Man. That gave us an entry into the sector, and we've built on that early foundation. It's quite a difficult model to replicate, really. A jurisdiction can't just decide it wants to get into the space industry and it then starts to happen. You need those early seeds of success to then build upon, and we were very lucky that Manset came here back in 2001.
Now, the Futron report, even though it's glowing about the Isle of Man, highlights a couple of weaknesses. One of those is government communication, and perhaps the message is not quite getting across. How do you respond to that?
Again, I think it's an age-old criticism of organisations, of governments, of companies. We've recently formed an Isle of Man chapter of the SSPI, Society of Satellite Professionals International, which is now starting to function as a local industry group. So it provides a collective voice to government on issues to do with space, and it's also a single point of contact if we need it with the industry from a government point of view. So I think that local SSPI chapter will go a long way to improving communications within the island so that we can work in a more coordinated manner.
I mean, the other weakness they highlight is the fact that you're perhaps too reliant on too few people to promote the space sector, particularly Chris Stott at Manset. I mean, what do you say about that?
Yes, I mean, Chris is a very charismatic individual, very well connected, and I think it's probably a fair criticism to say that we've been too reliant on Chris over the years. However, I would also say that with the work that Chris has done, he has created, if you like, a whole collection of ambassadors on the back of the work he's done. And there are a number of people now on the island in the banking sector, in the sort of company formation area, in the legal practices, in the accountancy practices, who are all actively involved in developing space business now, and they are all again going out selling the Isle of Man. So yes, it is fair criticism to say we were over-reliant on Chris. Chris is still very important going forwards, but that sort of army of ambassadors is expanding all the time.
The Isle of Man is a small island community. Is there a negative or positive to this in driving the space sector forward?
I think being small is an advantage. It means that we can focus resource, we can focus political commitment on a particular sector such as the space industry. So being small, we're fleet of foot, we can react quickly, we can take advantage of commercial opportunities within commercial timescales. In our case, certainly, I think being small has been an advantage in developing our space industry.
Now, where do you see it going over the next 12 to 24 months? I mean, what is your plan for the space sector?
As I said before, we have a credible cluster of companies here now. What we'd like to do is to continue to expand that cluster, make it even more sticky. One of the challenges for us is increasing the number of people directly employed in the space industry. I think if you look at the full-time people employed, it's around about 20. If you look at the overall numbers of people who are involved in one way or another, it's nearer to 75. But what we'd like to do is increase that core number of people who work full-time in the space industry on the Isle of Man. We're very keen to create more employment opportunities, and I'm actually quite confident that a number of companies who have a foothold in the Isle of Man at the moment will have found the experience commercially beneficial, and over the next 12 to 24 months will then look to actually move to opening a physical office and employing local people, bringing people into the island. So that's really going to be the main focus in the 2 years ahead.
Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you.